Hi. So, if you've been with me for a little while, you've probably remember the second season went really bad. And I blamed it on the soil, so I got all new soil. And the new soil did pretty well. Well, now I'm on another year, I'm about to start on another year of soil that I used the previous year. So I know I need some kind of soil amendment. I gotta figure out what. So I'm gonna get some soil out of my bin from the stuff that we used last year and do some nutrient testing on it. Coming down to the garden, passed by my wife's stuff. Gotta find a place to put it, so let's start that. Well, this is interesting. Let's take a look at what's going on here. So something's growing in here. I don't know what. Are those flowers? They might be flowers. Somebody tell me. I think that's probably enough. Crows are grumpy. Okay, so I got my dirt. This is the test I use. I don't know if it's any good or not. It's just what they had. I put a little bit of it into the line, up to the line. This is just for the pH test. This one's different than the other ones. The other ones I mix a big slurry and let it settle out, but with the pH, I gotta do this. Can you see that? I gotta fill it up to the water line. I don't have distilled water, but I'm using purified water, which, you know, it's probably close enough. It's not like I'm the county extension or nothing. All right, I'm not going to spray that back into there. I'll put it in there. Now what do? I think I'm supposed to shake it up. Let's find out for sure. So, remove the cap, fill it up, put the comparator in there, seal properly, shake thoroughly. You know what I didn't do? I didn't put the little stuff in it. I gotta put this in it. Why didn't you guys tell me that? Is this supposed to come apart? It's gonna come apart, I can tell you what. It's all empty. Now I'll shake it. See how it goes? Look at it, turned all green-ish. And we'll let that set. Put the lid back on my water. Now I need to take a cup of the soil. This is what happens when my wife leaves me unsupervised. I use stuff from the kitchen. Flatware, storage containers, measuring cups. And I'm going to put a cup of that stuff in 5 cups of water. It's supposed to be distilled water. I don't have distilled water. Stir it all around. I'm supposed to stir this for a minute. I could talk softly we could talk about ASMR, relaxing, closing your eyes. This is more like fingernails on a chalkboard than it is anything else. Horrible sounding. I think there's a difference between ASMR and getting your hackles up. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna call that mixed. Now I'm supposed to let it stand for 30 minutes to 24 hours. I don't think I'm going to let it stand for 24 hours. It hasn't really settled a whole lot, but I don't think it's gonna settle any more than that. So I'm gonna start with the potash with the K. And I was reading about it, and you're supposed to fill up both chambers. So I'm gonna try to slightly fill this with as clean a water as I can without disturbing it. And then I will use the little plunger thing to take out some of the materials to get it down to the layer it needs to be. And I will do that for each one of these. And apparently the reason that you do that is so that the other chamber has the same cloudy material in it, so when you're doing your color comparison, you're comparing the same colors. Okay, so those are all done like that. And I've also discovered that I should have kept a little better track of which color is which. Let's start with the orange one. I've also discovered that these little caplets don't always come apart very well. This one's doing a lot better than the pH one did. pH one I had to cut open. Hopefully I didn't spill too much. I end up making a mess, I know it. Then I'll get in trouble. And now I wait 10 minutes. So they've been sitting for 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer than that. And they don't look so good. It's kind of hard to show it to you. Let me see what I can do here. I would have to say that that's depleted. Can you see that? That looks depleted to me. That's the potash. The nitrogen, it doesn't look very good either. It's very hard to see. What if I go like this? That looks very bad. Let's go back to the potash. That doesn't look so good either. And the phosphorus. And that looks depleted. Now this test is old, and as you saw, I had trouble getting the little capsules open. So I'm not real confident in it. And because I wasn't real confident in it, and I wanted to get it done anyhow, we ordered a professional test online. Hi. As we saw earlier, I took a pH reading and struggled a little bit with the kit. I didn't record reading it. It had to sit for like 15 minutes, and I didn't record reading that, but as I recall, it was low, somewhere between the 6.5 and 7 range. 7 would be really neutral, but I think my tomatoes like it a little bit more acidic than that. And all the rest of the nutrients in that test were showing depleted or deficient, or what are they? Yeah, deficient or depleted. And I'd really like them to be in the sufficient category, maybe in the surplus category. I really don't know. But depleted is not good. And you saw the struggles I had with the kit. The kit is pretty old. It's probably 3 years old. And the little activator capsules were hard to open, and they were clumpy, and not all of it made it into the little test kit, and that was really awkward. And I tried a couple more times off camera and really didn't get any better results or any better experience with the little rapid test from the store. So we sent away to a company for professional lab. And I actually sent away for 2 of them. I'm only going to talk about one of them mostly. The other one I got for my lawns, and they need a lot of work. But the company's called RxSoil, and we had seen another YouTuber use that one, and she was pretty happy with the results, so we decided to try it also. And they just came back, and it's a lot more comprehensive and presumably accurate than the home test. And it better be, because it's not exactly inexpensive, especially when you buy 2 of them. But I do need to get the lawn really fixed, and I would like to see, how did the soil do, and was it depleted? How did my home test react? And they provide 2 things. They provide a soil analysis, and then they will recommend products based on that analysis. And you fill out a little bit of information. What are you doing? In my case, I'm gardening, and how big is the area that I'm gardening? And it didn't really cover bucket gardens or container gardens, so I just kind of estimated how big it would be. And so they made some recommendations on things that I could use to correct the nutrients, and had a link to Amazon so that I could order it and have it delivered right then and there. I don't think I'll do that. I don't really want to pay for shipping on 30 pounds worth of materials, but they did that. And here's what their analysis looked like. And I really like the chart that's at the top. It's really quick and easy. You can see right away that my calcium and my sulfur are low and need a little bit of support. And you can kind of see that the magnesium that's in between them is a little bit low. It's the lighter green. Everything else is up there in the dark green, which isn't necessarily good, I think, and in the lighter green. I do find it really interesting that some of the nutrients are extremely high. Look at the iron. The iron is 139 when the top end of the optimal range is 51. That's a giant difference. Or looking at potassium, it says the optimal range is 103 to 125, and I'm at 504. And their analysis didn't really give me any idea. It didn't, I say not really, but it didn't give me at all any information about how to correct that. Is it okay that potassium is 4 times as much as it should be? Or is that going to really be a problem? And do any of the plants not like that much potassium? And interestingly enough, you can see on this screen, nitrogen isn't covered. Well, why isn't nitrogen covered? They didn't explain that at all. Does nitrogen fall into the capacity to retain nutrients? I don't know. I don't think that's what that is. But where is the nitrogen? And it does have on another page, just it recommends an application of nitrogen annually, but it doesn't say how much, and it didn't give me a reading for it. Yet the home test had a nitrogen number in it, or a nitrogen test in it. And it said depleted. So I'm still kind of in the dark on the nitrogen situation. I do know that the tomatoes are not huge fans of nitrogen. They don't want a lot of nitrogen. All tomato fertilizer seems to have that as a low number. So I'm kind of in the dark on bringing some of the high things. I'm not kind of in the dark. I am in the dark on bringing some of the high things down. I do need to get my pH adjusted because tomatoes want that to be like in the 6.5 range, I believe. So, and that is one of the recommendations that they have. So on the recommendations page, you can see at the top, it simply says nitrogen applied annually, but not a whole lot about it. They want me to put blood meal in, which I'm thinking is the nitrogen, because that's what's in it. It's 1200. So I need to put that in there. And then the soil acidifier to adjust the pH of the soil. But this is a really nice screen, and you can see there at the top there's a link that says add these products to Amazon. Now, unfortunately, they were not in stock. We were just looking at it. But everything else is, there's no recommendation. There's no recommendation on the phosphorus, the potassium, the micronutrients, or the enhanced lime. My lawn, it wants a lot of lime. My vegetable garden, it doesn't have any recommendations. So while it's really great to know this, it would have been really great for them to tell a little bit of information about how to bring these up or down, right? There's recommendations, especially for the lawn, on bringing the nutrient levels up and adjusting the pH and doing that. But if it's too high, there's no instructions on that. There's no information on how to handle that. So that's a little bit disappointing. But on the other hand, it's great to know, what those different levels are. I was a little concerned after my initial home test that all the nutrients were depleted. Because if you look at this soil is black and it looks rich and it looks like it's in really good shape. And then to see the home test give such poor results, I'm like, this looks like really good soil. It looks as good as the day I bought it. So is it really that bad? So a new one of these rapid tests might be a lot better. I don't know if I'm gonna want to do that again. It's really fiddly and it's dirty and it gives you some idea. And I suppose if you did it consistently and could see those colors change and potentially just see it going up or going down over time, you would get a sense for how your nutrients in your garden were being consumed. Anyhow, that's the results of the condition of my soil. I'm pleased that it's in good condition. A little concerned that some of the nutrients are way too high. I don't know if that was the sampling method. I didn't show the sampling method on that. Basically, I just took a spade out into in the case of the garden, I took it out into the bed that I built and dug down a little bit from 3 different areas and put it in a bucket and shook it around and got the biggest parts out of it. And then filled up a little bag. They have a little baggie that you fill up and you send in. And a week and a half later, I got the results. The lawn, I did similar. I just kind of used the spade and pulled up the sod and took some of the dirt from underneath it where the roots are from 4 different places, both sides of the house and the front and the back, because they're all a little bit different, and mixed it up really well and sent that to them. And it was a pretty simple, pretty painless process after the check was written. That's a euphemism if you're too young to know what a check is. After we paid for it, because the test is like $40, and that seems pretty high, but it is still good to know. Anyhow, I've got some nutrients to buy. It looks like I need some blood meal, or actually I just need something that's 12% nitrogen, 12% nitrogen, and some soil acidifier. One other thing that they let you do is you can give them the information of whether you're doing an organic feedings or inorganic. It's a different thing, isn't it? Non-organic, and then their recommendations will follow that. So that's pretty nice. So I'm going to go look for some soil acidifier and something to put nitrogen into the soil, and hopefully we'll have a really good bucket garden this year. If you like this content, if you like seeing me, if you want to see and follow how I'm getting prepared for the bucket garden and how the bucket garden does here in the spring and summer of 2023, why don't you hit the like button down below and subscribe. It's always fun to have those people, and then leave comments, ask questions, tell me what I'm doing wrong. If I'm doing something wrong, which I know I am, because I'm not getting enough. Although I got some decent tomatoes last year. But I know there's things I can do a lot better. But let me know, comment. I like interacting with the people that are watching this stuff, and I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching.